trying to secure the transmitter for the microphone here. We're still kind of new to the whole going live stuff. We're still trying to set up our gear here. Come on, you. Darn. That's what happens when you buy Amazon stuff. It's just garbage. But it was $10. Okay. How are we doing on this thing? There's like different settings on this damn tripod and everything. Hang on. Get you guys a little bit closer here. Jesus, I apologize. I apologize for all the wiggling. What's up, everyone? What's going on? So, I thought this would be a great time. My wife and the kids just left the shop. Where'd my towel go? My wife and kids just left the shop. And so this 74 Charger, this is the final wash for it. After this wash, it's going to be coated. Still got to put the spoiler on. There we go. Right now I'm working on, if I can find my damn brush. Right now I'm working on the hood area. So far, this 74 Charger, what started off as a Christmas present for her husband, has turned into just shy of a complete restoration project. So originally we were in for a quick one-step paint correction, and then we were going to install a 3-year coating. Well, then the client told me the story about it, and I'm not at liberty to share their personal stuff, but long story short, the client decided to spend a little bit more money, invest a little bit more money here on his vehicle, and we went from a one-step paint correction and a 3-year coating service to a major 2-step paint correction, as you can see, to a 5-year coating service. I hand polished all the chrome and aluminum. Actually, I shouldn't say just me, my team, Megan and Kyle. Last week before last maybe, did some chrome work, so it wasn't just me. They've helped on odds and ends. Did some major paint chip repair. Ended up doing went all the way down to a 1200 grit sandpaper on some of the deeper scratches and rock chips, and then filled them in. Client had us completely remove and replace the interior carpet, so all the seats were out of the vehicle. And then after that, let's see, we removed the spoiler. That's sitting back there. That has to be cleaned one more time, and then that has to be cleaned one more time. I took the antenna casing, the front marker bulbs out. Those all have to be cleaned by hand. And then those all go back on. I still have to recondition, and then I'm going to try to restore the black vinyl top. And I don't know, you should be able to see that. You'll get a closer view here in just a few. Try to restore that to being as black as I can possibly get it. And then we're going to go ahead and install the 5-year coating on everything. All the chrome, the soft vinyl top, the paint, bumpers, headlights, tail lights. All of this is going to be coated. The glass is all going to be coated. And the client already had it rust proofed. So that was a good step. For being a 1974, this client's really taken good care of this vehicle. I mean, what is it, 51 years old now? Survivor, I guess you could say. Actually, I don't really know I think a survivor vehicle is a vehicle that has all matching numbers from like the engine block, like has not been destroyed or wrecked or totaled, non-salvage title, all original parts. I think that's what they consider a survivor. So what I'm doing now is I just got done. The hood's already done. I cleaned the entire engine bay, excuse me. And so now I'm just working on just a quick, we've already done all of this has already been cleaned once. This vehicle's been here now, I think going on week 4. I think at the end of this week will be week 4. And there's been a lot of work to it. A lot of compounds been flung while I was doing the paint correction, or what was commonly referred to as buffing. So there's just a lot of stuff that gets flown around in the shop, and instead of going straight into just a wipe down and then coating, I want to make sure that everything is completely clean, so that way when I go to put the coating on, the coating bonds better to the surface. And man, this thing, I'll bring you guys in. I think client's going to end up, I think our time frame right now is, I'm pretty sure the client's coming, we're going to come on Sunday and do the final inspection and then get their reaction. I won't get that on camera because I don't want to invade their privacy like that. But finally get to send this vehicle back home to be enjoyed by the client. My wife got some good videos of the before and stuff, so we're looking forward to showing everyone, seeing the transformation that was had on this vehicle. The paint was really dull. A lot of oxidation, especially with this single stage paint because of the year of the vehicle. So the way that the scratches and just the outside elements interact with this paint is much different than on modern vehicles that have a 2 or even a multi-stage paint system, which really didn't become mass-produced. A multi-stage paint system really didn't become mass-produced until, shoot, what was that? Late 80s? Early 90s maybe? I think it was BMW that came out with, if I'm not mistaken, BMW was the first one to come out with a multi-stage paint system, and then from there it just went, it's now just the way it is. Technology's improved that much. Well, anyways, the way single-stage paint interacts with the elements is much different than what we see in today's paint system. So we got to do a different approach with these with vehicles realistically older than the 90s. That's pretty much my cutoff. If I get someone that's got like an old Honda Civic, or we've got a 1983 Porsche, I think it's a 911 turbo wide body. I think the client was telling me there was only a couple hundred of them produced worldwide, and he's got one of them. So I have to interact with that paint and approach that paint correction and beautifying the paint more or less. I have to approach that different on older vehicles than I do more modern. So with this vehicle and with classic special vehicles like this that have that paint system, you got to be looking at preservation. That's what we as professionals need to be informing our potential clients is that, hey, yes, we could do a major 2 or 3 step paint correction on this vehicle, but I'm going to take that paint to within an inch of its life. I'm just trying to find, where are my 800 GSMs? Are they all, let's use this, a Versatile. So that's something that we as professionals need to be advising, excuse me, I don't want to do that, advising our clients that that we shouldn't be bringing this paint within an inch of its life. We shouldn't be going heavy defect removal. You know, unless this vehicle is going to go and sit in a museum and never be driven again, we should not be doing anything, realistically, anything too aggressive. Now, this received a 2-step paint correction, but when I was measuring the vehicle, it was 1 mil, maybe 1 1/4 at most that I was taking off that's the how much paint I was removing to remove the oxidation and stuff. But man, this vehicle turned out freaking awesome. This vehicle just looks amazing. And we still got to put a coating on it. And that coating is going to enhance the gloss and shine even more, because that's what a ceramic coating does. But most importantly, in my opinion, a ceramic coating adds a really good durable layer of protection to protect it from bird droppings, bug guts, tree sap. Should still have my towels down there. I put some towels down in the trunk. Try to catch some of that water. So what I'm going to do now, I'm done with the engine bay. I'm done with the inside of the rear hatch. So what I want to do now, or what I am doing now, guys, I'm just doing a good thorough rinse. All that dust, everything like that fell, that was on the vehicle. If you guys have never paint corrected before, especially using like wool or microfiber cutting discs, compound gets everywhere, and it's just really dusty. I'm gonna move you guys out here so you can see the car. So what I'm doing now, hey, could someone give me a thumbs up or say something in chat? Make sure you guys can hear me, because we're still, this microphone thing, it says it's connected. I don't know. But what we're doing, I'm just knocking off all that dust, all that compound. It's been here for so long that the surface has been contaminated, and I don't want to just trust wiping it down with the prep solution or the prep chemical. So I'm just getting in here a good thorough rinse. Finally got a new pressure washer, much more power. What was that, a Greenworks, I think what it was? Hey, it did the job while our pressure washer crapped the bed, and we had to wait for this one. A lot more power. So this is my ideal water pressure for cleaning a car. 2 gallons a minute, 1800 psi, 15-degree tip on the pressure washer. Y'all, that right there is a perfect combo. Oh, I wish you guys could have saw what this vehicle looked like before we got started. You guys have to wait for the transformation video, which my wife will put together. Just unraveling the pressure washer hose here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to foam it down using a soap called Cleanse by a company called HyperClean out of Oklahoma. And what we want to do, we want to let this sit for a couple minutes, because what this soap does There's no protection. There's no gloss. There's no additives. It's just a true 1, 2, 3, 4. Doing my redneck measuring here. You count by the seconds instead of taking out a measuring cup. So I'm going to spray cleanse down. It's the true soap, true shampoo, whatever marketing term they want to use nowadays. I just call it a soap. We'll let this sit for a couple minutes. What it's going to do is just going to safely loosen and lift any remaining contamination that's on there. Now, we've had it covered up in between other clients, so it was minimal. I just don't want to take that. I just don't want to take that gamble. I just want it to be right. I don't want to inflict any unnecessary damage or get sand or dirt or compound coated on the freaking car. That would be awful. As you can see, there's no protection here. There shouldn't be. So we're just going to let this soap sit on the vehicle for a couple minutes. And any oils, I already did a good thorough pre-wash, so everything should be off. Just in case it's not, that's what this process is going to do. And then we got to dry the vehicle. We're going to hand wash it. Right? Then we're going to hand wash it. Got to dry it afterwards thoroughly. Dry the engine bay. Get the doors open. All right. Look at that soap. Heck yeah. So we're going to let that sit for a couple minutes and let that soap lift everything off the surface. And then we'll do a good thorough hand wash. Here's my tip. Get that ready for the rinse. I gotta get my wash mitts. Car's so freaking sweet. Like that. Those, in my opinion, the 60s and 70s are the most iconic body style of any other brand out there, in my opinion. And like this style vehicle, the 60s and 70s, it doesn't matter what it is. And those 50s, like those Bel Airs, man, every time I get one, like an old school, like even like this, it's just, you just give thanks that these are still around, that there's still clients that really truly take pride in these vehicles and appreciate them for what they are and drive them. Because this thing is, I don't know, I guess I could go both ways. I'm just going to grab a water, walking in the office. I guess I could go both ways. I could sit there and say, hey, I really don't want to drive it because there's not many left out there. And what ends up happening, you hit a turkey, hit a deer, something like that, and then the car's ruined. And so why take that chance of driving it? But then there's clients like this that are like, listen, if it's a nice day out in the 3 and 4 months worth of weather that we get here, they're driving it. And I love that. I love that. My dream car is a 2002, just wringing out the wash mitt quick. 2002 Pontiac Trans Am. So what I do, I always like to start from the passenger side, work my way around to the driver's side. Start with the passenger front windshield. Go like this, but 2002 Pontiac Trans Am, black T-top, the WS6 trim level. So that comes with an upgraded suspension. I think the brakes were bigger as well, a little bit heavier duty brakes. I'm just taking my time. Because sometimes you can get those nooks and crannies where the compound, if they're doing the paint correction, will sit. And then you go do the coating, and you're like, oh, that looks like a high spot. Let me get my buffer out. And then you get your buffer out, and you realize it's not a high spot. It's actually that compound that you coated over is now stuck to the paint, so you actually have to paint correct or polish or buff, whatever term you want to use, the coating off, and then get down to the paint, correct that to remove that haziness, and then recoat it. And generally, when you do that correctly, you actually have to do that entire panel because it doesn't always lay correctly, the coating that is. There. Now, so we start with, I'm just going to rinse my bucket. Rinse my mitt, sorry. So, now, what I like to do, I'll start with the hood. A little bit more water than the pad. Start with the driver's side of the hood. Oh, just thought of something. So I'll show you here in a little bit the badges. So when the client and I were talking, there was around the badges, you could see 51 years of stuff not being cleaned properly around these badges that are here. And if I paint correct, all around it, that area is going to stick out like a sore thumb. So, client agreed with me, take the badges off, and then reinstall them afterwards. Well, badges got a lot worse once I took them off. I'm going to switch to a new mitt now. So once I took the badges off, the badges actually started to like peel and flake off just because they were 50 years old and sitting right here and taking the blunt of everything. So a client agreed to have the badges removed. Or not removed, replaced. So I ordered them. Well, wouldn't you know, it took like 2 weeks to get that order for the badges. And I'm not going to say the company. I can promise you that it wasn't Amazon, though. And once they got here, badges were like 3 times the size of the original. So, client and I talked, and the original ones were actually 2 prongs, and these new ones, which are 3 times, double, triple the size of the original, had 3 holes. So, client goes, Josh, drill into my hood. That was last night. I was shaking, my knees were weak, my palms were sweaty. Anyone get that reference? You had an awesome childhood. And I end up putting 2 new holes in this client's hood. But I will say, in my opinion, the new badges look freaking awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm actually happy that the incorrect size was sent. It was like a blessing in disguise, because these new badges really make the car really stand out, especially that hood. So just changing pads. Talked to Dan Cass today. He's the owner of Turkey Run Golf Course, and we're teaming up here this weekend for the first time this season. So Dan and Turkey Run have been awesome for me and my business. We've collaborated. I think we didn't do it this year just because of where finances were for the business. But the previous year, we did a, what did we call that? I think it was a lover's getaway is what we called it. So Dan over at Turkey Run has those igloos in the wintertime that you can go and have dinner in just an intimate setting. Well, we teamed up for Valentine's Day, and we actually gave away our, I think it was three dinners in those igloos over at Turkey Run. It was awesome. So anyone that did business with us in January, I think it was, or maybe it was January into February, something like that, I can't remember. But with the help of Dan over at Turkey Run, we were able to secure a couple igloos. It was awesome. Well, anyways, this Saturday at Turkey Run, we're teaming up again, and I'll be there starting, I think everything opens at 8. It's the Hope Lutheran tournament. Well, you're going to see me over there, and I am going to be washing and cleaning golfers' vehicles while they're golfing. So really grateful that Dan and his company are, helping me out. Just being able to be there and being around the weather, the nice vehicles, and helping get my business name out there. It's awesome. I want to show you guys this back of this car has like a mural on it of the Roadrunner. I'll show you here in just a second. I did not paint over that though, because I want to add some character and some uniqueness to this vehicle. Okay, I need a new map. Let me show you. Tell you, 38 years old, my body's catching up to me. At least it feels like it. My mind tells me I'm younger than my body performs. So, let me show you. Can I turn this thing? Rotate your camera. Oh crap, I can't. Can you kind of see it? Hang on, let me grab my flashlight. There's a mural. Right there. Oh no, that's Wile E. Coyote. I'm sorry. Pretty cool. Can you guys see that? Kinda. Like right there. So I didn't do any paint correction over that. I didn't want to mess that up. You know, this is good too. I'm glad we're doing this, because then you guys can see, like, a good thorough hand wash takes a while. To really get this surface of your vehicle clean, takes some time. Now, ceramic coating, like what this client is getting, is going to help tremendously. It's going to help tremendously. Because the hydrophobic properties that the coating gives off, it's just hard for stuff to stick to it, right? And so when you're using the pressure washer and even just rinsing that stuff off, rinsing the dirt and debris off, it just comes off so much easier because of how the ceramic coating protects, adds a hydrophobic property, and those hydrophobics are what help keep the surface free of contamination, because then stuff is harder. It's harder for contamination to stick to the surface of the vehicle. So, when you've had a ceramic coated vehicle, it doesn't take as long to wash your vehicle. But it is important to wash your vehicle after you have a ceramic coating. It's probably like once a month. Once a month you should be doing this, realistically, right? And that should be for, even if your vehicle isn't coated, there's spray-on waxes and sealants that you simply spray on inside the bottle and then rinse off with your pressure washer, and there's protection there. A good durable layer of protection. Man, I hope you guys can hear me. That would be really embarrassing if you couldn't. You guys just see me here, bah, bah, bah. And get you guys back here, but you don't hear anything. Love this pressure washer. Okay. Good. Thorough rinse here. This is the last time that we're going to put any type of soap on this vehicle before the coating. So this right here, we've got to be 100% on this vehicle being completely clean. After this, yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me show you. This is the exact reason we do this. Oh, Lord. That right there is a pine needle. That even though I washed that area, it must have been stuck or come loose during the wash process. And if I had not done this, I could have coated over top of that. And then it would have been there, under the coating. It looked awful. I am going to hit that. I think I am going to hit those rims one more time, though. I did not do that way around. So I think I am. that's it. Let me, just gonna get a towel real quick. Let's see here. Actually, do some clay lube to do that. What I'm going to do now is just hand wash the rims one more time. So this is what I use for clay lube. It's Cleanse, the soap we just used, the True Shampoo, to hand wash the vehicle. Make sure all the compounds and everything were off. And I just dilute it. You don't want too much soap. Right? You don't want to be wasteful. And when you get good quality products like HyperClean stuff, a little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. Yeah, these rims turned out great. My team crushed this. Absolutely crushed these rims. Because they did the polishing on the rims. I did an awesome job. Yeah. Just showing a little bit of wear there. I think these, yeah, he did say that. He did say that these rims were not the original rims. He bought these. So all I'm doing, I just want to make sure, because these rims are going to get coated too. So I just want to make sure there's no leftover metal polish on the rim. So when I go to install that coating, it's a completely bare and contamination-free surface. So that way that ceramic coating bonds properly. Preparation is key. Preparation is absolutely key. Sometimes I get clients that will see one of our vehicles at a car show or something, and they'll give us a call. I'll be like, how long? It's got to be there a week? This is an exception because this had, like I said, the interior was completely ripped out and replaced by us. Boy, these rims are going to frickin' pop in the sunlight. It is going to be nuts. Can't wait to get my hands on that 84 Porsche. That car is going to be just awesome to be around. Something that I don't think most people understand, but when you spend 50, 60, 70 plus hours with a vehicle, you get to see and pick up things over time that most people don't see. So like there's times that I can see a scratch or a dent or something and be like, yep, I know what that's from. Or like the paint chips. Yep, you've been burning rubber. You've gone down gravel roads. But then see the beauty of what that's going to look like once it's fixed. This car is going to be unbelievable. I'm going to rinse that soap off. So now, let's dry it. Put my stuff away here. What's up, everyone? Oh, I got one person. What's up? How are you? Hopefully you can hear me. Trying out these new mics and stuff, still trying to get everything set up. Got a 74 Dodge Charger. Last wash here and dry before we coat it. All the hard work's been done. Where is... So these are 1500 GSM drying towels. We're just taking the water off. That's all we're doing. Then we'll get the air dryer out, get all the nooks and crannies. Blow out all the jams. And then we gotta coat it. But I'm not gonna coat it till tomorrow. I'm gonna let her just breathe tonight. Cannot wait to see what this car looks like after that coating's on. Because that coating's just going to enhance the shine and depth of the paint. Just all that more. I can't wait to see the client's reaction. It's always nerve-wracking for me. Because it's like someone that loses weight, for example, say they're heavy. And then you see them every day, and 6 months later, they're 50 pounds lighter, and you really don't see a difference until you see a previous photo of them. That's me. That's throughout this entire process. I'm seeing small changes every single day, and I lose sight of what the vehicle looked like when it was dropped off. And then the client's reaction is what tells me, yeah, you did a good job. Right? It's not that there's, an invoice and that gets paid. It's seeing them see a completely different vehicle that me and my team did. And we don't quite remember what it used to look like because we saw it every day. And the client sees it for the first time in a week or a couple weeks or a month for big jobs like this. It's like, yeah. It's like seeing that person that lost all that weight for the first time in 6 months, a year, something like that. Working on the back end here. It'd be cool. We've looked at a couple people online that do a lot of streaming because we want to start including all of you in our day-to-day operations, but we have to set up multiple cameras to get different angles, and then someone following me around a vehicle, that's just not feasible. So we're trying to figure out how we can take our GoPro camera, hook that up to the streaming platforms, and then you guys have you guys get to see what I see. It's just really complicated. So this will just have to do for right now. But someday, hope to have you guys like up here so you can see what I see. I think I'm going to be turning the stream off here because the next step in this process is the car dryer. That's an 8 horsepower engine, and it's not quiet. So I don't want to blow your guys' eardrums out. Look at all this. How do I want to do this? Get it. I think I am going to use Eco 1 on the inside. What do I do with that guy's key? What do I do with my water? What did I do with my water, though? Bruh. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up. Come on, door. I'm going to open up all the doors. The hood's already open. I'm going to open the trunk and get all the door jambs and everything all dried. Oh, good. There really wasn't much water that got. I was worried because that spoiler's off that there'd be a lot of water in the trunk, but there's not, thankfully. Put these keys up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use Eco 1 on those interior door jambs. Eco 1's a little bit of a drying aid, acts as a drying aid. Sugar, I bet you they are. Let's take this one. Yeah, that looks freaking. Oh, and I still need to do. What happened to my Eco 1? Bruh. Oh, the team's already got them on the carts. Okay. So using an 800 GSM microfiber towel, spray 1, and this is going to help dry these door jambs because they hold a lot of water. Now we don't want to put this on the surface paint because there is a layer of protection, small layer of protection down by Eco 1, and we don't want that on the surface of the vehicle because we don't want anything obstructing the coating when we install. I guess I'll start from the hood, work my way back, and then I'll end the stream because I've got to use the car dryer, and that's really loud, and I don't want to blow your guys' eardrums out, like I said. So we just sprayed on a towel. There's some flaking paint under the hood. Mosquito, get out of here. West Nile virus. So I'm just dabbing to dry it. And the engine bay will dry, itself. I just want to get as much of the water out and off so it doesn't drip when I'm coating, because what will happen is if any water gets on the applicator pad that has the coating on it, there's a chemical interaction that happens, and it instantly creates what we in the detail industry say is a high spot. Now, all a high spot is access coating. It actually is adding a thicker layer of protection on that individual spot. The problem is it doesn't look good. So that's why if you go to a reputable dealer or detailer, they will not allow high spots to leave their shop. Okay? And they'll buff them off when they see them and then recoat that area. So that's how we take our time and be thorough with drying. I'm starting to get hungry, actually. Right, we know that these small, intricate areas inside the engine bay are gonna dry. We just want to get the surface level water off of it. So that way, while you're coating, like I said, you're not having high spots caused by water that you didn't dry off properly. Okay, let's move you. I'm going to do a driver door now. Here. Give you guys a little bit better view. There. Yeah, so I've got a couple chemicals I'm going to try on that vinyl top. Hopefully get that really nice and dark and rich again. But no promises. I'm really impressed on how well that carpet turned out. But I did have to remove everything out of this frickin' interior. The seats had to come out. The center console had to come out. Do the rear trunk area here. Dry that really well. Give you an angle like that. Still got quite a bit of work, though, ahead of me. Probably still have 10 hours of work left on this vehicle till it's finally done, because I still gotta lay the coating. Still have to put all all the small plastic pieces and everything that I took off back on the vehicle, reinstall that stuff. I still need to tackle that spoiler. I need to get that reconditioned and coated, get that installed back on the trunk. I still need to do toothpickery around the vehicle. So what toothpickery is the first time I heard it was from a really, really good detailer that just does his focus is just on paint correction. He doesn't clean, dog crap out of vehicles. He doesn't clean up kid vomit and throw up. Doesn't do smoke odor, things like that, removal services. He just specializes strictly on paint correction. And he came up with a term I first heard called toothpickery. And let me show you what it is. You physically take a toothpick with a microfiber towel. Which drawer are they in? Back here. So, you take a toothpick. Now, I like to use the shish kebab sticks. My hands are a little bit bigger. So I always broke the toothpicks. But something with a really wood, pointy, you take your microfiber towel, and then you go all around the vehicle, and you remove all that leftover compound that's all over the vehicle. That's called toothpickery, and I still have to do that. So yeah, I would say about 10 hours. 10 hours is what I've got left. And then the vehicle will officially be done. Wish you guys could have saw the vehicle and its condition before we started working on it. But my wife will have a transformation video that she puts out there. See, around the door jambs and the trim is where you'll pick up a lot of water while you're coating it and create those high spots that you then have to buff off. So being really thorough on these areas is really important before you lay down a coating. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream here in just a sec. I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to get the car dryer out, get all the nooks and crannies dried out, blown out and dried, and then put the vehicle back in the shop or in the back of the shop, cover it, and then I'll do the toothpickery and the coating of everything tomorrow. After the coating's done, I'll work on the restoration of the spoiler along with the vinyl top. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you guys being here. And until next time, peace.